lava band. All them having cars now, whichever get up. Light up my card with a sweet one bliss. Someone flips me a bag it up. Say, oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Hello, and welcome back to Crossroads in Boxing. I'm here with the man himself, Ra. As CJ, unfortunately, is unwell. He's seemingly got what I had last week. I don't know if it's a second bout of regen of COVID or whatever it is. I don't know, but something's hitting everybody, and when it hits you, and you're down for a few days. So, unfortunately, CJ's got it at the moment, so he can't be with us, and Ricky's away with work at the moment. So we've got Ra, who's happily jumps in every time he's needed. The bat signal comes out, and Ra answers the call.
All I can say, I thought you Yorkshiremen were like hardy folk. You know, I've just got back from 3 days partying straight in Ibiza. By the way, how's the tan look?
I tell you what, yeah, you caught it. Well, you caught it. You've almost caught me, but you know this British weather's keeping me topped up.
But yeah, I missed talking about boxing to anyone. Yeah, I mean, over there in Ibiza, I did meet one person who was vaguely interested, but yeah, otherwise, yeah, I'm rejuvenated and ready to talk some boxing with you. So, yeah, you've got a bit of a downer in terms of the topic, and moving to Libster, Yorkshire lass, always very welcome.
Libster is always number one in the chat. Always number one in the chat. Thank you, Libster, for tuning in as usual. Before we get into it, Ra, we'll just go to D-Rock Clothing promo video. That's your 40% off on D-Rock Clothing. Right, yeah, the topic, British boxing at a crossroads. Can it compete? I felt like this, obviously the name of the show, the whole branding, I felt this was actually Ricky's idea. We had our group chat. Ricky had put into it. He wanted to have this conversation. Unfortunately, he can't be here for it. But his question was, where are we right now is in terms of world level when it comes to boxing? Can we compete? Because I feel right now in the males, what are we? I think we've got maybe one world champion in Nick Ball? Who else is a world champion?
No, just looking through the rankings. That's all we've got at the moment.
Yeah. I think we've got maybe one. If I'm wrong, anybody watching, just put it in the chat if there is somebody else you can think of that's a world champion right now. But yeah, gone are the days where we had 11, 12. I remember Eddie racking them up, saying, "Oh, we've got this many world champions, British world champions," and at the moment, it just seems a bit bleak. And I just wanted to have a conversation we wanted to have a conversation about where our next world champions coming from. What has gone wrong in the last, I want to say from maybe 2000, the last 10 years. We'll go from 2015, let's say. What's gone wrong in the last 10 years and why have we declined so much? And on the world scene, although the British scene is thriving so much, which we keep talking about week after week, there's so many good British matchups. But why is it we're falling short so much on the world level? What's your opinion on it?
You know what? I mean, these days I try and be Mr. Sunshine and positivity. I don't think the situation is as bad as we think. Not because it's good. You're right. We've only got one world champion, but remember how much older than you I am. And I remember a time when we wouldn't have any Brits sort of vaguely competitive at world level. So I think that this is probably a regression back to the mean, really, in terms of our level in on the world scene. I think that golden era that you mentioned, when we at one point had a dozen world champions, it was probably just a confluence of events. The big investment in the amateur scene. Anthony Joshua, of course, was a big part of raising the profile of our fighters worldwide, and it gave Eddie a lot of sort of, I guess, promotional leverage with governing bodies, that sort of thing, to get fighters into the right mix. As you mentioned, he's concentrating more on his worldwide operation, so he's probably not pushing British talent as much. So there's factors like that. I think also we benefited from a sort of transitional period in other major powers in the world. Obviously, American boxing probably been in a long, slow decline for the past 20 years. They're still one of the top nations, but they're not obviously as dominant as they once were, because there was a time where everyone from featherweight upwards would have been American. Let's be real. It'd be very rare. Now and again you might get a Mexican or another sort of Caribbean or Latin American fighter, and of course the very smallest weight classes you had Asian fighters, but other than that you'd occasionally get a European in there. I think it took time for some of these former Soviet states, their top level amateurs, to sort of transition into the pro game. But I think that's what we're now witnessing a lot more of. Central Asians, Russians, all the former Soviet republics, those guys.
Yeah, and a lot of Russians seem to be coming through at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. It took them time to make that transition. And Cubans as well, it took them time to sort of open up to the pro game, and a lot of talent from that part of the world. I think also just the globalization of the sport, it's starting to be felt by us. Can we be competitive? Yes, I think we can be competitive. But if you're talking about getting world champions, I mean, I'm looking down at the world rankings at the moment, and in the immediacy, it's a tall order. But
yeah,
I don't think that it's necessarily that the sport is necessarily in a bad place. It's just that I think worldwide it's so good, the level's so good. But the good news also is, though, I think we're really poised to dominate the heavyweight division for the next decade. There's one mighty obstacle in the name of Usyk, which we're all sick of hearing. I certainly am sick of hearing about. But
I ain't sick of it. I'm not sick of it. I honestly, Alexander Usyk is a pillar of boxing. The guy is his professionalism outside the ring. Even I don't think you can generally find somebody that hates that guy for a genuine reason, or dislikes him for a genuine reason, outside of the ring or inside of the ring. Inside of the ring, you could understand why. There's a lot of people who hates him, but as in a boxer, a personality, he's quite a funny personality. A bit, he was strange at first, but for someone who was really strange, who didn't speak English or anything, in a weird way, he sort of turned the British fight fans around, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, he's strange, but he's kind of like, yeah, we welcome it. But Usyk, he will be gone soon. And like you said, the next wave, I think we are in the prime position to hold those belts as a nation. But outside of the heavyweights, we're going down, and it's slim pickings. I've got a list of our top fighters, our top 5 fighters in each divisions, and we can go down these divisions, and it's only 5 fighters, so we can go through them quickly. Out of these 5 fighters, who do we see, or do we even see them winning a world title at this division in the next, say, 2 years? Shall we call it, or year? We'll say year. The next year.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Let's do 2
I think
years.
you go
2 years.
2 years. I mean, the politics, remember, is it can take a couple of years to navigate those. So yeah, I'd say give it a couple of years.
Couple of years. So we've got the heavyweight division. I believe there's 4 the top 5 they've got. Well, Grok has given me, my assistant Grok has helped me with this.
Yeah, you're about to learn why AI is a long way off taking over from human.
No, I'm just not paying for Grok's update. That's all. So she takes her time. But they've got obviously Daniel Dubois, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Fabio Wardley, and Grok has given me Joe Joyce. But I'm going to take Joe Joyce out, and I'm going to put in Moses Atoma. We're going to put Moses in there. I think all 5 of those in the next 2 years could possibly hold a title. Because in 2 years' time, Usyk ain't going to be here. So any one of those 5 guys could win a world title for me. I just hope these matchups happen against each other for world titles. So a Dubois AJ, or AJ Fury, or a Dubois Wardley, Itoma Wardley, Itoma Dubois, like fights like that. I want to see. I think that heavyweight division, like you said earlier, is probably the easiest one for British, where you can see a British fighter winning a world title in 2 years' time.
Yeah, I'd agree with all of those. Obviously, a lot of haters are going to be ready to dump Daniel off the manner he lost to Usyk. But I keep pointing this out to people. Daniel and Fury and AJ, for that matter, are never going to fight anyone as good as Usyk again. A guy that good comes along once in a lifetime. So they can be rest assured when the coast is clear of Alexander Usyk, they're never going to have to go through that trauma again. And I still say, based on how Daniel fought against, the 3 fights before Usyk, shows you can deal with other top contenders quite conclusively. So with Uncle Frank's magic with the governing bodies, I think Daniel will get into another favourable matchup. As for Fury and AJ, just their enormous earning capability, I personally, if Usyk was to retire by the end of the year, you can bet your life the WBC will say, "Oh, sorry, Ajit Kabayel, but the
Tyson Fury
going to be contested by Fury and AJ, and you get first dibs on the winner of that." So I think it's a given those 2 will get world title shots again, just by dint of sheer marketability. I mean, but the thing is, they're not really. If we're talking about the future, they're not really it. I mean,
no.
5, 6.
The future you probably have Atoma and maybe Wardley. I see those 2 outside of those names, even the names where you go to the British level sort of fighters. The ages of those fighters sort of takes them out of being the future, just simply of how old they are. The likes of Joe Joyce, the likes of Fraser Clark, these guys are getting on. So outside of 2 years, if they're not going to do it in 2 years, which I don't believe they're nowhere near close to being a world champion, in 4 or 5 years' time they'll be ready to retire, and I don't think they can reach. I think we've got Atoma, which is I think just about everybody's thing. You've got Leo Atang. He's only just made his debut. You don't want to push him too fast, but he is with Eddie, so we know Eddie's going to position him quite well. and with Atoma being with Frank, and Atoma's Frank's boy. That's his next heavyweight Tyson Fury. That's his next guy to reign. And Leo Tang clearly is the next Anthony Joshua for Eddie. Hopefully we do get these two get to the levels what AJ and Fury have been at, but hopefully we get a fight against each other. We will when they're at best.
I mean, Itom was the one who's the prodigious talent who I can see in the next year or two getting that world title shot and winning it.
100%.
And I think he will be a big player in the division for the next decade. Leo Tang, he's just started out. I think it's way too soon to be talking about him. We've not seen anything yet. Wardley is the interesting one at 30. I'd say he's in the peak years of it for a heavyweight. A lot again was made of how easily Hooney outboxed him, but he showed everything else that he's got the equalizer, he's got a solid chin. Importantly, he's got that that dog in him, and it's worth remembering. Not many heavyweights are as slippery as Hooney. There will be a lot of the top contenders who are there to be hit by Wardley. So. Wardley, I reckon he'll be a player for the next several years. I'd fancy him to knock out Pulev, the WBA regular champ. If Hunter beats Pulev, Hunter stylistically is hard, but he's aging as well. So I think Wardley will win some and lose some against the top contenders. So again, I think he'll go through phases of being a champion and an ex-champion over the next few years.
And that's what I like about just Wardley as in him, and just him as a fighter. You look at, like you just said there, you can see Wardley going into fights and losing, but coming back. Oh God, my light's gonna losing and coming back and beating somebody else, another top contender, and maybe losing. And I like a sort of a Chisora style that you are in there. If you lose, we're not throwing you away, and people are happy to see you. Whereas there's like a thin line of if a fighter loses, like an AJ loses, a lot of people say, "Oh no, he's done, retire." And do you think that comes from the money side of people seeing like you've earned so much, you've took that loss, there's no point even carrying on? Whereas Wardley isn't on that sort of level of superstardom as AJ was. That he could lose and come back and still have the support of the people.
I don't know what the line of thinking. I don't know. Is it the manner of AJ's defeat to Ruiz and how he changed in the ring after that? Did it give people the impression that it looks like your heart ain't really in this? You're too worried about getting hit. I don't know.
I think it's a double-edged sword with that, because with fans and pundits alike, because let's be honest, most of the pundits are still fans. They're doing what we do, but what we do most of the time, but they do the same thing. They say their thoughts and feelings the same way we do. They're just more eloquent at saying it, apparently. But I think it's a double-edged sword for the fighters, because on one hand they're losing a bad way, like Joshua did. And before the rematch, every single pundit or so-called pundit, every fan, he needs to box. He won't be able to box. He needs to be able to keep Ruiz on the outside. He needs to be able to do that. If he can't do that, he'll get knocked out. He can't do that. Then the fighter proceeds to go do exactly what every fan and everybody who says, if he's going to win, this is the way he's going to win. But when they do fight like that, they get psychoanalyzed in, oh well, he fought like that. He was scared to get hit, and it's like, what do fighters do? Do you go into your next fight proving that you've learned from your mistakes and just put up with the negativity that is obviously is going to come by saying, oh well, they didn't put themselves in the same position to get hit? But yet, if they did do that, you would be slating them, saying they don't learn. So I feel for a lot of fighters in that sense of when they do change something after a loss, come back and fix exactly why they lost, or one of the big reasons why they lost, they fix that. Then they get psychoanalyzed and say, oh well, they're missing something, they're missing this or they're missing that. It's really
I'll tell you what. if in the case using the AJ example, if he still went out gung ho after the Ruiz defeat, you'd get critics saying, "Oh, you know, he's taking too much punishment. You know, he really ought to, maybe he needs to pack it in. You know, can't keep getting into fights like this. You made your money. Why take more punishment?" You would get that. Listen, a lot of people who do this for media, they're talking for the sake of talking. They're paid to talk. So
that's very true.
You're right. We can go overboard with the psychoanalysis. But I mean, those are I think there's a lot of hope at heavyweight, and of course, guys like David Adeliyi, we'll see. The Hrgovic fight in a couple of weeks will tell us more if he's going to be a player. You know, and someone like Lawrence Okoli, he might not win many fans, but as we were saying on our WhatsApp group chat, Frank could use him as a, you know, to go behind enemy lines, you know, and
soften people up.
Pick up a title away from home, you know, that sort of thing. I think he will be a player, and absolutely, I think he could pick up one of the belts over the next couple of years.
Yeah, moving down to cruiserweight, Okoli's in because my assistant Grock is a little bit late. She's not quite updated yet, but it is in the cruiserweight rankings. But cruiserweight, we've got Chris Willem-Smith, obviously a former fighter. You've got Ellis Zorro. You've also got Vidal Riley, who's the British champion. It's very slim when you go down in cruiserweight. Like the levels of from world level to British level, and then under that, we're really thin on cruiserweights, in my opinion. I think you've got obviously Chris Willem-Smith still there. I don't know what Richard Riakpo's doing, if he's moving up or if he's staying at cruiserweight. Not sure what he's doing.
He's done.
You've got Ellis Zorro up there, who's already been in there with Jai Opataya and ended up. We saw what that was like.
Not said.
You know what I mean? Where do we? Vidal Riley, British cruiserweight champion. It's way too soon to be even talking about him at world level. So cruiserweight, we are struggling.
But you know what? Take Jai and Ramirez out. I'm not convinced the world scene at cruiserweight is particularly good.
No, it's not. No,
Jai is, I mean, he's a quantum leap, as Ellis Zorro found. Yeah. Ramirez, very deceptively skillful.
Ramirez is very good. Very good.
But he's come up from super middleweight. All right, he was an enormous super middleweight.
He is a cruiserweight. That guy is.
He's a small cruiserweight. I think
he's still doing quite, because he went to light heavy and lost to Bivol, which is not a disgrace. Let's be honest. But he's moved up to cruiser, and to be honest with you, I had questions at first about him at cruiser. I don't want to make this about them too much, but I had questions at first. Then I saw the Chris Willem-Smith fight, and he surprised me in that fight. He showed me a lot of things I didn't think he had. So yeah, I think I wouldn't pick. Obviously, I've seen what he's done to Chris Willem-Smith, and that's our best cruiserweight. That is our best cruiserweight. Yeah. That is where we've got to go, because you've got Jai, who we've seen what he's done with Ellis Zorro, and then we've got Chris Willem-Smith. We've seen what the other champion has done with him. So in 2 years' time, I don't know if them guys is going to be gone.
That's the key. I'm going by within 2 years. I think Jai. I mean, if he doesn't get the Ramirez fight in the next 6 months, I think and. By the way, you can see the interview that I did with his manager, Mick Francis, over on Punch Out Boxing. And he said, if these guys do try and wait him out, then Jai might have to just go up to heavyweight. So the coast might be clear for Jai. Now, I think that Vidal is best placed within the next 2 years. Yes, because he beat Clark on points. And as a measuring stick, Mosquea, the number one with the WBA, he also beat Clark on points. I think Vidal beat him more comprehensively.
Vidal was that loss that Mosquera one for Clark, that was he slipped up and he couldn't get it back. That's what it was. He messed up early and couldn't get it back. Whereas the Vidal one, Vidal just outboxed him, outworked him in every department on that night. Everything just went Vidal's way. Vidal did what he wanted when he wanted, it seemed, in that fight. So yeah, you're right. I think Vidal in 2 years' time, we're looking cruiserweight outside of Vidal and outside of Chris Billum-Smith, who's probably still going to be there in 2 years' time.
You know, there's young Aloys who's climbing up the rankings now. The way he struggled against Ellis shows he's got a long way to go. However,
that's why I didn't mention him too much, because I seen the Ellis fight on the weekend, and it was one of them where I've seen Ellis at the world level, and I've just seen what Ellis has done, what you've been like with Ellis. So, although
the thing is that I would give Aloys. The reason I would give Aloys a bit of benefit of the doubt is because of his youth. Now, if you look at the cruiserweight division, like I said, apart from those top guys, the top two that I mentioned, a lot of aging guys there, high 30s, even 40. I mean, look, Badu Jack's 40. And you look at the rankings. I mean, the WBA got Jake Paul in the rankings. So it's a thin division, because so many of the better guys invariably are going to want to, go to heavyweight and get the bigger paydays there. So, all right, Aloy's 2 years is probably optimistic, but I think he is still one to look out for maybe after 2 years. But yeah, other than that, we might have a longer wait. I don't know if there's some of these, guys like Pat Brown, the Olympian?
Yeah, Pat Brown,
Olympian, he might be expected to move quickly.
But 2 years. Then again, 2 years in boxing, it depends. Like you said, an Olympian, if he's moving quickly and he's fighting 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Seemingly, Eddie has got him on just about every show he's done this year. I think Eddie's got him on. Had him on. So we will see. Yeah, that one, cruiserweight, Vidal is the earmarked fighter for us right now. I think we're looking at for the future.
My biggest concern for Vidal is the promotional situation. As we know, boxers all over the place, and is he going to get the fights at the right time? So my biggest concern for him.
Yeah, well, if boxers a different topic, that's just a completely different topic. And just before I just be thinking, congratulations to Terry Harper, who signed with MVP today, our Yorkshire lass. She signed with MVP. Great decision. I bigged up Jake Paul and the business and the promotion he does with these ladies. So, yep, another world champion Jake Paul has got hold of, and another lady getting well-deserved, treated like she should be treated. She's been a pillar to this sport, especially up north, being a world champion and how she's carried herself as well. So hopefully Caroline can get the situation sorted with Boxer, and we can get that unification on the way. Moving on from that, light heavy. I think light heavy, outside of Bivol and Beterbiev, I don't think we're too bad at light heavy. I don't think in the competing wise, I think we've got people in there who can compete, certainly. We've got Callum Smith. The list I've got here, what Grox gave me, I'm not listening to her. I'm going to go off the top of my head. We've got Callum Smith, we have Joshua Buatsi, we have Anthony Yard. Those are your top 3. That's our top 3 guys, I'd say. Can you think of anyone else to put in? Let's go top 5. Anyone else at light heavy?
Are you going to include what prospects?
Linden, up and coming prospects at light heavy.
Well, Lewis Edmondson, I mean, did he give a good enough account against Lappin, who's world ranked, for you to think?
Yeah, well, to be quite honest with you, I thought he won that fight. So yeah. I was disappointed in the result of that fight. So,
and of course,
Louis
Ben
Edmondson,
Whittaker is the big.
Ben Whittaker, certainly.
Again,
Yeah, but we're talking 2 years. We're talking 2 years, and he's just moved to Eddie.
Has he?
Well, he will move to Eddie.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think his career's been moved very disappointingly so far, but as he said, with the right promotional move, finally can kick on. Has he got the talent? I'm not convinced. Beterbiev is probably on his way out.
Yeah, he hasn't got 2 years left. He hasn't got 2 years left.
Bivol has got 2 years left. And the Bivol fights, I don't see him sort of falling apart dramatically with age.
I don't. But I also see so these fighters can get the Ben Whittakers of the world can get better. They can get better. They've definitely got room to learn and get better. Bivol is at the top of his game. I don't know what else he can do as good as what he does, apart from punch harder. It's hard for me to say this guy can add more stuff to what he already has. He has what he has, and it's unbelievable. So I find it hard to say that he can go up any more levels. He is the A standard of that division. The likes of Anthony Yard, he has a tough task in fighting Benavidez next. Good luck to him. But it's Anthony Yard, and you can't write him off in these big fights because although he's come up short in them, he shows that he can hang at that level. And if he can hang for long enough and actually get these guys hurt and get a moment and take the moment, because in the Kovalev fight, he had a moment. In the Kovalev fight, he had a moment and just couldn't capitalize on it. The Beterbiev one, I don't think it was such a moment as in he was in the fight. So the Benavidez one, Benavidez gets hit. That's the saving grace for Anthony Yard, is the fact that it is not to be hard to hit Benavidez. What will be hard is getting Benavidez to stay off you. Hopefully he can pull it off. I'm rooting for him, 100% rooting for him, and he can pull it off. We also have
Callum Smith in line,
Callum Smith
fighting Morel. So who do you think's got a better chance out of Smith
Callum
against
Smith.
Morel or Yard against Benavidez?
Callum Smith.
Okay.
Callum Smith. Right, I'm preferencing this with Callum Smith. It's a bit frustrating with Callum Smith because that Buatsi fight really, really annoys me, because although Callum Smith won that fight, I still like the hype over that win. I'm seeing that I felt a lot like Buatsi lost that fight himself than Callum ripping him away from him. So for me, it all depends on. I've still got questions on what has Callum Smith got left. I've still got them questions because I don't know if I didn't get the answers in the Buatsi fight I was asking for. I felt like he gave some answers, as in get through. He still was in the fight, but in that fight he was hurt a few times. You could see that he was hurt a few times. I felt like Buatsi him and his corner just didn't step on the gas. I felt like in the last 2 rounds, all Buatsi needed to do was quicken his feet, and he could have got Callum out of there. Instead, his feet was slow, and he just allowed Callum to pick shots and get off the ropes. And that's how Callum ended up winning that fight. So I do give Callum more of a chance saying that, but that's only because Benavidez is better than Morel. I don't know. Morel, even in Morel's last fight, I don't even feel like he 100% won that last fight. So,
so
yeah.
on Buatsy, do you think he'll be a world champion in the post Better Be a Bivol era?
I think he can. I think a lot of these guys will beat each other. Once Better Be Bivol's gone, I think there will be round robins with these guys where they beat each other. I think a Buatsy Yard fight, I think they could fight each other 2 or 3 times and each win fights. I think the Callum Smith, Buatsy, Callum Smith, Anthony Yard, Callum Smith, obviously Morel. I think Benavidez in with all of those guys. I don't think Benavidez is unbeatable, although the Americans will tell you otherwise. I don't think he's unbeatable. I think the light heavyweight division outside of Bivol and Beterbiev could get really exciting, and it could be one of the best divisions in a couple of years' time. It could be one of the divisions we are looking at, like we're looking at the likes of 154 right now and 168 outside of Canelo. You're looking at the matchups you can make around there is really, really good. And I think in a couple of years' time, those guys could be in the mix and all winning and beating each other.
Yeah, it's worth noting there's a couple of these former outstanding amateurs like Arlen Lopez, the Cuban Olympian, Katayev, the Russian, no relation to Katayev, who, like you said, probably beat Morel. And Katayev's still going to be a factor as well. So, yeah, it's a dangerous division. But yeah, so you think that we got a better chance than at light heavy picking up a title?
Yes. Yeah, I feel like we can. In the next couple of years, we can certainly have, if not 2 world champions at light heavyweight. I think we can have a couple. I think the guys that are there for us are solid world level guys. And I don't, like I said, outside of the likes of Beterbiev especially, I think a lot of these guys can hang in there. We also had so super middleweight outside of Hamza. Who else have we got at super middleweight?
Obviously, your local boy Callum Simpson. He's the obvious one.
Yeah, a couple of years' time. Yep.
Who else we got coming up in the contender rankings?
1 second, I'll just
looking through the rankings. I mean, Mark, what's his name? He just lost, but I think he's actually pretty good. Mark Jeffers. Mark Jeffers.
Yeah.
Danger man. No, we're really. I mean, he lost last time.
Super middleweight is outside of Hamza for us right now, and maybe a Callum Simpson after his win. But we've also got questions of if you're getting dropped there by Zuko, what are you going to be like at the world level? But yeah, outside of for me, outside of
even Hamza. I mean, I love Hamza. Obviously,
exactly.
For him and Callum, for that matter, all our British fighters. But I think we can't get overboard over the Berlanga win, because I just think stylistically Berlanga suited him. That's why I think they were so eager to take it. We've seen twice Hamza struggled against slippery operators. Now at super middleweight, there are a lot of killers, not many slippery guys, but they are killers. And Billy Iglesias, Lester Martinez, if his problem with migraines, it doesn't curtail his career. So I think I'm not convinced that either of our British guys can do it, even in the post-Canelo era, simply because I think so many of them world-level guys, they are that dangerous. And a lot of them are really well schooled. Like the guys like Iglesias and, some of these Kazakhs and what have you, they've got extensive amateur careers. So I hope they can do it. But
it's a tough one. It will be a tough one at super middleweight. We can go down to middleweight and who we've got, because middleweight it isn't a deep division. Outside of, you've got Janabek and you've got two champions. I think it's Janabek and Adamas.
There's Lara still knocking around.
Oh, Lara, but with 2 years' time, Lara's at least 90. Like, in 2 years' time, he can't. In Cuban years, he's 65 in Cuban years. But Lara, yeah, in 2 years' time. So middleweight, we've got Eubank Jr. In 2 years' time, he ain't gonna be here. He's gonna be retired in 2 years' time.
He won't. Nah.
Denzel Bentley. I think that is that's probably, you're looking at middleweight. That's probably our top ranking one, where we can, in 2 years' time, I can definitely see Denzel with a world title. Who else have we got at middleweight? Looking from
it's quite thin. I mean, Kieran Conway's the British champ, which gives him a world ranking, but not seeing anything to suggest he can make that jump in class up to world level, even though, as you said, it is a thin world level. I'll tell you what could be a real problem if we're talking about a 2-year time scale. The red hot 154 guys, some of them might not be at 154 anymore, which means 2 years from now you might get an influx of red hot.
Have we got? But British level wise, who have we got 154? Let's have a look.
154 with Sam Dilly. I mean, I'm talking about like at world level. A lot of the world level 154 guys might be at 160 in 2 years, which means the competition.
That is true. That is true.
You know, guys like Fundora, Madrimov, you know, Ortiz Jr., a lot of these guys, you know, they're huge at the weight at 154. But if they're up at 160 in a couple of years, well, it could be pretty tough. At the moment, I would say Denzel is easily the best bet at middle. The rest of the guys, they're either on their last legs, like Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith, or they're still firmly in just the domestic sort of level.
Yeah. We've got about 15 minutes. We'll go to welterweight. Welterweight division. I'll say we. There's Paddy Donovan versus Lewis Crocker, obviously for the IBF title. That's been ordered. That's next. That's in a few weeks, right? Is that
September 13th? Unfortunately, I'll be in Japan for the Inoue fight, but that's another story. Of course, if Crocker wins that, he counts as a British fighter without going into Ireland's sectarian politics. But yeah,
even though they're selling it as an all Irish affair.
let's not go into touch on that topic. But Crocker winning would make it a British win. Who else you got?
At welterweight, you have Conor Benn. Who else? Well, I say at welterweight, you've got Conor Benn. We haven't really got Conor Benn at welterweight because he hasn't fought at welterweight for how long? At least 2 years.
But he's got a high ranking with the WBC. I mean, don't let small facts like that get in the way of world title shots if need be.
He's been meaning to fight Barrios. He's been saying that this is what I don't understand. If I was Conor Benn, I'd be kicking myself right now because this Barrios where you was just seeing. But then again, I think Barrios was pulling his punches against Pacquiao. I won't lie. I feel like he got told to pull his punches until like, because there isn't no way that you fight like that for 10 rounds and all of a sudden you decide to actually throw punches to hurt this guy. I just find it strange. I find it very strange. So welterweight, we've got Conor Benn, Echo Esserman, Michael McKinson, Chris Congo, Florian Marku. Well, apparently he counts.
Mark's out of the picture. As last I heard, weren't he arrested in Germany or something for some?
Yeah, Josh Kelly, but he's moved up to 154.
154, doing a lot of talking about what he'd do to Bakram.
Can you see any of these guys winning world title? Conor Benn? I certainly can't. Not a welterweight. In 2 years' time, the welterweight division is going to look like this. The top guys at welterweight, you've got the champions, who you've got Brian Norman, who's fighting Devin Haney right now. So your champion's either going to be Brian Norman or Devin Haney. You have Rolly Romero, who's seemingly going to have a rematch with Ryan Garcia. So you've got those two. Who else have you got? Who's the other champion? I forgot his name now. Because Boots moved up.
We've got who's picking up
the other belt?
Barrios. Those are the two. Those are the 4 belts accounted for. IBF is going to be contested in Ireland.
Yeah.
So for them, Barrios. Romero and
Romero, yes, and Norman. And
Norman is accounted for. Now Romero is the low-hanging fruit.
And he's about to fight Ryan Garcia again.
Yeah, I mean, even if Garcia wins out, I class Garcia as low-hanging fruit as well. If he's properly drug tested.
The Garcia fight, where I'm going to add the junior welter to this one. I think we should have done this in the first place, but we should have done the 2 weight classes together, sort of thing, because junior welterweight at 140, you've got Jack Catchell, Adam Azim, Dalton Smith. Who else? We'll go with those. Adam Azim, Dalton Smith, Jack Catchell. Is anybody else at junior at 140?
Not that I think are ready to win a world title or will be in 2 years. Again, 140 is a hot division.
Yeah.
I can't see Azim being ready in 2 years. Smith, really tall order against Subriel Matias. Would love him to do it. I'm sure you would as a Yorkshireman, but
the problem with that fight is the problem with the Matias fight is it's a great fight because what you're going to get is 2 fighters, and it's going to be who's going to break whose will. That's what it's going to be like, because both these guys like to come forward, both these guys. But I don't know who's the bigger puncher in both. I don't know if Matias is a big puncher, more so a relentless puncher. I think he's a relentless puncher where accumulation of those same shots are going to hurt a lot. Dalton Smith at that level, we don't know yet. We really don't know yet what we're going to get from Dalton. I'd love him to pull it off. Absolutely love it if he did pull it off. But you've got Dalton, who's going for a world title. You've got Crocker going for a world title.
I could see Esserman, I
feel Esserman could get a shot at somebody just giving him a shot thinking it's a cherry pick.
There's that also. Uncle Frank, can work his magic.
I don't know where he places him though. WBO, right? The WBO is
Norman Jr.
Teofimo. Yeah, that Teofimo. Is he going to fight an Echo Esserman? The funny thing is, Echo could beat Teo. Echo could beat Teo because Teo don't like. Well, no, actually, no. Teo would piece. No, I was thinking Teo would piece Echo up because Echo's engine is unbelievable. But if a fighter is coming to you when you're Teo will pick them apart. any fighter that is going to come on the front foot, and that's going to be their main game plan, Tio will pick them apart. Tio struggles with boxers. He struggles with anyone that can move, that can pivot. Tio cannot handle because he can't fight going forward. He's a very good counter puncher, and then when he gets you hurt and he's in control, then he can fight going forward. But outside of that, yeah, I don't think Frank would do that. I think at WBO at welterweight, who we got?
Norman or Haney?
Norman or Haney? The Norman fight? Possibly. But does Norman beat Haney? No.
Yeah, I think that's a lot will depend on how that goes. There's a lot of moving parts to this, as I'm sure you know.
A lot. Yes, a lot of moving
here's
parts.
An off-key one. Catterall, apparently Turkey Al-Sheikh says, all right, we'll get you a fight on Riyadh season because Catterall was such a good sport about the jibes that Turkey made. Now Catterall saying, yeah, fine, I'll fight Rolly Romero next, Turkey Al-Sheikh. And if that happens, I think he'd box his head off. And
Jack Catterall is probably our biggest chance there. Anything at welterweight, if Jack moves up, I give him a chance. Rolly, certainly. Barrios, I think he beats Barrios as well. I think Jack could certainly beat Barrios. Jack could win a title because you've got Lewis Crocker versus Donovan. We've got to remember this as well. I've just thought of this. If whoever wins that title, it's still on these shores, by the way.
Yeah.
Whether it's Paddy Donovan, whether it's Lewis Crocker, that title is on these shores. So that IBF title could circle around quite a few British fighters fighting for it. That may be where the stronghold comes in, where British fighters have got a foothold in the world level at welterweight. The likes of a Jack Catterall, because Jack Catterall is a name. If Paddy Donovan wins that belt, I think, or even Crocker, if Crocker wins that belt, with Crocker being with Matchroom, I think Eddie would happily, Eddie would almost certainly say, Jack, move up and fight Lewis. 100%. So, I don't want to go through many more. There's Sam Noakes I want to touch on. Obviously, he's got a world title shot against Abdullah Mason. I think it'd be wrong if we didn't touch on him and what we think he can do, because that could possibly be our next British champion. What do you think of Sam's chances against Abdullah Mason?
Decent. Obviously, I would say Mason is the favourite, but not hugely. You know, he is young. He's shown he can be dropped, and Sam, if nothing else, he can really hit. So he's in with a chance, but I'd expect Mason to win, but it's not a given. Do I think he's got a chance of getting a world title if he doesn't beat Mason this time round? Could he win one within the next 2 years? I think yes, especially when people like Shakur inevitably move up. But again, no, there's a whole load of other talents around lightweight, isn't there? Your Roaches, Andy Cruzes, Murataya.
Andy Cruz versus Murataya, by all accounts, is going to be signed. I think that's on the November 22nd card, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I mean, there was talk that Murataya didn't want it, but maybe they talked him round. But yeah, it's a tough division. I think he's in with a chance though.
Yeah, Sam Noakes for me. I'll just touch on that quickly. Sam Noakes, it's a great opportunity for Sam Noakes because Abdullah Mason is inexperienced. He's young. You getting this opportunity at a good time where the lights might just be a little bit too bright for Abdullah. The experience might just not be there for him. Sam's aggression, Sam's power might just be, man strength might just be a little bit too much for him. The opportunity is there for Sam. It is a tough task, although I've said that about Abdullah Mason. He's an absolute amazing talent. But we have seen he can get dropped, and he hasn't been dropped by anybody significant. He has been dropped by a journeyman before, you know what I mean? So Sam can take a lot of confidence going into that fight that he could possibly hurt Abdullah. Abdullah's going to be there to be hit because he likes to trade. He's a kind of fighter that if he's in the firing line to get you, so he can be caught. So I good luck to Sam, because I do hope he does it. It's a good shot. It's a good chance, and that could be possibly our second world champion outside of Nick Ball, who's right down there at what featherweight is it? Featherweight Nick Ball. Is that? We'll just touch on Nick Ball last 5 minutes. With him being our only champion. What do we make of Nick Ball, and do you think he can get beat anytime soon?
Yes. And I think the matchmaking is indicative of that. Don't get me wrong, great fighter to watch, very exciting, but he can be beaten. So yeah, it seems like Uncle Frank's trying to sort of maneuver him through the minefield towards the Inoue fight, but I don't think that's going to happen. Inoue looks like he's staying at super bantamweight for a while longer. So he's going to have to fight his mandatory. And a lot of people in the know seem to think, is it Marco Cuello? Is that how you say it?
Cuello. Yeah,
Cuello. If it ain't Cuello, even if he gets through him, he's then going to have to start looking at unifications. That could bring him in line with people like Carrington and Fulton, who are pretty skilled operators.
Bruce Carrington's been shouting his name.
Yeah,
shouting for the Nick Ball fight. Yeah, I feel like I agree with you. I think Nick Ball is beatable. I felt like the Raymond Ford fight. I thought Raymond Ford won that fight against Nick Ball. I feel Nick Ball got the decision off of being hard done by in the previous fight against Vargas. I think he got a lot of leeway in that fight with Raymond Ford. I thought Raymond Ford won that fight, but outside of that, I don't think Nick Ball's team want to fight anyone close to anything that is like a Raymond Ford. Hence why Shushu Carrington ain't in his mind at all. He is not looking at a Bruce Carrington. But yeah, I think that's it. We've actually managed to hit an hour on this Ra. Oh God, everything's falling. I appreciate you stepping in. We do have one more. I just want to say, Galal Yafai rematch. The WBC have ordered a rematch against Rodriguez for some strange reason. Rodriguez has failed the drugs test. There's two parts on this, and just last 2 minutes, I'm just gonna have a quick rant. Eddie Hearn is starting to get a bit on my annoying side, because how did you and your team not know this guy failed a drugs test the previous fight? How wasn't this part of you? This is crazy to me that you did not know this guy failed a drugs test previously. So not only you didn't do your due diligence before you put your fighter, your prize fighter, the one guy you got there that you said you're Olympian who's going to be a world champion in so little fights, you didn't do your due diligence and you put him in there with somebody who is now a serial drugs cheat. Because what's funny is the WBC have come out and made this report that's saying that, oh, it's contaminated by an energy drink or whatever. We're going to order the rematch. It's a no contest. And then the very next day it comes out, oh, actually, this guy failed the drugs test in his previous fight. So how are you? So Mauricio, what is going on? How are you saying it's okay because it's only an energy drink? But what happened before? Was it an energy drink then as well? Are we just okay to drink energy drinks that's got anything in it?
Friggin' insane, isn't it? Insane. I feel for him. Unfortunately, just on Galal, I think the damage was done in that first fight. And
yeah, I agree.
Sadly, I don't think. I mean, it's a combination of things. Stayed in the amateurs too long, turning pro at 30, having to rush to the top level, and then now taking a 12-round pounding like that. I don't think their stars, unfortunately, will align for him. Just want to make one honourable mention at bantamweight. I think the Scouser, the British champ, he's a good bet, maybe to pick up a belt. What was that? He's in the Nick Ball camp. Andrew Kane.
Okay. Andrew Kane, yeah, okay.
He's got a real edge to him. Yeah, if he's moved correctly, I think he could win a world title.
Right. Right, that's it for the episode this week. Thank you, Ra, for jumping in. We didn't touch on the female side of boxing because we are thriving in that department when it comes to boxing. There was no need to put the females in this because we have plenty of world champions at this moment in time. But yeah, Ra, thank you again for jumping in, stepping in, just answering that bat signal when it's sent, helping me out. Hopefully CJ gets better soon. He don't go through too many more days of this, and Ricky will be back soon. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Libster, as usual, always jumping in the chat there. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody on Twitter tuning in. I'll be back next week. Hopefully, I'll have a few interviews lined up, actually. I'm going to start doing interviews again and dropping them on the channel so we can get things moving. But yeah, thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and see you on the next one.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. Light up my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a back by the end. Say, oh, it's another one, yeah, it's a full strand.